Ever in Hyde Park? It's so interesting. People stand up and give their opinions on what matters to them. Come and see.
Welcome to Speaker's Corner Hyde Park. This is a place for speeches, arguments, and discussions about almost anything. Let's try debating the art of persuasion.
All you have to do is come and talk?
No, you have to prepare well or you won't convince anyone.
How does one prepare?
You have to read up about the subject and think of arguments that support your position. And you have to know the arguments of the other side so that you are ready to answer them.
Look, here's a topic: equal representation of women in Parliament. Our debate is about equality of women and men. Should we be concerned about the equal representation of women in centers of power, such as Parliament, government, local authorities, and leading roles in the economy? Meet Rena and Elaine, who are preparing for the debate. In the first stage, Rena and Elaine study the topic and formulate their arguments.
Suppose I'm against women's equal representation in centers of power, so I need to do some research to find convincing arguments. I found a useful article, and there are many more. Wow, there's a lot of information here. I'll just take the important points, the strongest arguments. Here's an argument I like. Quotas conflict with the principle of equal opportunity for all, since women are given preference over men. By explicitly favoring certain groupings of citizens, for example women, all citizens, men, are not provided with equal chances to attain a political career, power, and influence.
I'm looking for arguments for equal representation of women in centres of power. I found a lot of articles about this and I want to be well prepared. Here are some facts. Only 5% of the 500 CEOs are women. A mere 27 out of 500. Men are 2 to 3 times more likely to hold senior management positions, a figure that has stagnated for almost 30 years despite widespread efforts to remedy this imbalance. This is a big gender gap favouring men in Parliament, in government, in local authorities and the economy. Representation of women in leading roles at the national level and locally is still very low and sometimes insignificant in relation to their part in the population. There's no choice. If we're concerned about equality, we have to have equal representation of women in centres of power. It's interesting to see what the arguments against this are. It's important to prepare. I believe in affirmative action, and here it says, with quotas, women will be chosen because of their gender and not for their qualification or merits. Something's being missed here. If we don't have quotas, then women won't be chosen because men will, with power, rely on connections and they make sure to bring in their male friends.
See how it works? You study the arguments for and against and prepare them. Now we'll go to Hyde Park and see a debate in action. Each side has only 30 seconds, and then the right to speak passes to the other side, and so on. Listen and decide who is more convincing, and at the end, vote for the speaker who convinced you the most.
I am for equal representation of women in centres of power. Why? Here is my first argument. Today, men occupy the centres of power and influence matters bearing on women as well as men. If women were represented in the positions of power, they could speak out on issues related to women, such as motherhood, women's health, retirement age, and more.
I disagree. Our society is made up of many different groups. If we begin worrying about equal representation for women, we'll have to think about representation of minorities, of different religions. There's no end to it.
I have another argument. We are a democratic and egalitarian society, and so we have to be concerned about equal representation of women and other groups. Even if it's difficult and asks a lot from us, we have to work for and defend our democracy and values.
Yes, but we have to give representation based on qualifications and not gender. If the criterion is sex, we are likely to lose qualified people and actually harm equal opportunities.
I really don't agree with you, because many centres of power are male, and men take care to bring other men to these powerful positions. We have to have affirmative action for women to make sure there is equality. Women start out from a lower position than men, so they need help. In any case, men are already in society's centre of power.
No. If a woman is strong, she can, by her own efforts, gain entry to positions of power. She isn't a child or a weakling who needs help. The concern with equal representation is patronizing.
Now it's your turn to try debating. In your group, choose one of the dilemmas. 1. There should be no religious signs and symbols, such as dress, head covering, religious jewelry, in public schools. 2. The state should enforce the law against polygamy. Learn the topic and prepare a page with 6 arguments, 3 supporting one opinion and 3 more supporting the other side. Prepare both sides of the argument, because you will not know until you actually arrive at Hyde Park which position you are representing.